That's great. Welcome back to Asinine Radio, a weekly podcast where we talk about music, and, well, that's pretty much it. So, let's go!
This is Asinine Radio. This is the weekly music podcast where every week we rank all of the albums from whatever artist we're doing this week. And this week we are doing Pantera. We're going to be ranking all 9 of their records from their worst to their best, and we're going to name our biggest banger from each of them. But before we do that, we're going to get into our 6 degrees of Tom DeLonge. If you don't know what that is, look up the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. Same idea, but between Tom DeLonge and the artist of the week. Go to Apple Podcasts, go rate, review, and subscribe to us on there. Follow us on social media at Asinine Radio. My name is Tyler, way out there, hundreds of miles away. It's Jeff. We also have a phone number. You can call, leave us a voicemail, send us a text. It's 503-893-5307. Now that we're done with the boring intros, let's get right into our 6 degrees of Tom DeLonge. What do you got? Go.
Let's see.
You got nothing.
Please. I always got something. So,
Trying to think of something in your mind real quick.
no, that'd be hard. I do have one though. This is with Terry Glaze, because I figured, throw back a little bit. Tell them all them old school Pantera fans. Terry Glaze was the OG singer, and he was in a band called Blowfish with a PHISH. That's funny. With drummer Mike Malinin, who also drummed for the Goo Goo Dolls, and also has drums for Tanya Tucker, also, which was kind of funny.
That's interesting.
But Mike Malinin in the Goo Goo Dolls to Johnny Rzeznik from the Goo Goo Dolls, and then Johnny Rzeznik did the City of Angels soundtrack, or at least did some of the songs, or at least was involved with the City of Angels soundtrack with the Goo Goo Dolls. But the City of Angels starred Nicolas Cage. And then this is where I kind of had to cheat a little bit, because there's a movie coming up that has everybody. But Nicolas Cage was in a movie called Running with the Devil, which is 2019, with this guy Clifton Collins Jr.
Damn.
Ring a bell?
No.
If you saw his face, you would immediately recognize who he is. He's been
Christian
in a ton
Collins?
of fucking Clifton.
Oh, Clifton.
Clifton Collins Jr. But Clifton Collins Jr. was in this doc called LA Originals. That was the kind of cheating part. With Travis Barker was also in it. There's a ton of musicians that are in there, and then Travis to Tom. So that's what I got.
I don't recognize this guy at all.
What?
No, I don't recognize him at all.
The fuck yeah, you don't recognize this guy at all.
I really don't.
He's like a
this
Steve
picture.
Buscemi.
This picture I do recognize him with the facial hair.
Yeah.
Without the facial hair, no. But the moment you throw a beard on him, yeah, I know him.
He's in a ton of movies as secondary characters at best.
Yeah, never the star. Never the star. Okay, yeah, I know who this is. There you go.
There you go.
So you just got the one?
Just the one, baby boy.
All right, I just got the one too. So we're going to start with the producer of Vulgar Display of Power, and that is Terry Date.
Producer, here we go.
And that was Terry Date. So yeah, he produced this record, the album of the week. He also produced several songs off of the Smashing Pumpkins album Zeitgeist. Also, if you don't know, Tommy Lee played drums on a Smashing Pumpkins record called Monuments to an Elegy. So we're at Tommy Lee. In the movie The Dirt, Machine Gun Kelly played Tommy Lee in that movie, and then Machine Gun Kelly to Travis to Tom. There you go.
Look at that.
I mix it up with the music and the movies. I just had to do something cool there.
Okay.
So that's all I got for my 6 degrees of Tom DeLonge. Just had the one. So should we just jump right into the rankings?
Let's do it, Jer.
Okay. So like I said, they have 9 records, or they put out 9 records, and we're gonna go from worst best to their best, and then give our biggest banger from each. So what do you got for number 9? Go.
Number 9, I Am the Night. Their third album, 1985. This is last because I thought it was super, super similar to Projects, the other album. There was just there was no getting better here, and I felt with the early albums they got better in certain ways. and especially like Dimebag too. But I don't know. There's only so much he can do as a guitarist for a glam band. But luckily, this was their last album, Terry Glaze. Whew. So
Yeah,
I have no bangers. I did not enjoy this one.
Oh damn! Okay.
Wasn't like terrible, but it was just I would never listen to this again, ever.
That's fair. It's their glam era.
Yeah.
So my number 9 is their first record, Metal Magic. This one is very rough, very bootleg sounding. The cover art is very unique. It's terrible. It looks like what it was, where they probably asked their 16-year-old buddy, because they were all like in high school at this time. They probably asked him, "Oh, draw something cool like you see on the side of your uncle's van," and that's exactly what this looks like. It's fucking terrible, but it's great. It's really great because it's so bad. But overall, the music on this one, it has some potential, but Terry Glaze just he's kind of a boring singer. He's whatever. And the Abbott brothers, they barely shine on this record. It's just kind of whatever. It's cool to listen to, just to see where Pantera started. And this is just whatever. If I had to pick a song, it would be Widowmaker, because it's the only standout one that I can actually kind of remember. Otherwise, this is forgettable, but cool to listen to at least once. So I give this a 1. I give it a 1 on our 3-point rating system.
Okay.
So what do you got for number 8?
Reinventing the Steel.
Okay.
This was the year 2000 album, and this is record. It was hard to be objective with this one. I was pretty burnt out by this point, or at this point. It's my God, these records are like an hour long each, which is so fucking long. And like this record had moments that were cool. Some moments that were like very grungy in the vocal delivery, which I thought was kind of annoying and weird. But I don't know. Overall, it was just and I really didn't care for it, since it was just more of the same shit I've heard the past 2 hours. But Death Rattle, that was a pretty dope song. I think I even playlisted it too. It was like one of them. There's a lot of like these Slipknot type sounding songs where Slipknot like rolls, like the song "Sick" when Corey finally comes in, how that Slipknot sound, how it like rolls along. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That sound, they did it a lot in Pantera in various moments, and it was kind of cool to hear it. Like obviously not nearly as good as Slipknot did it, but it's cool to hear it before they did it. That was kind of fun.
Yeah, because they started doing that on Vulgar, and that was 92. That was 3 years before Slipknot even started. Mm-hmm. So pretty cool. Because I have some there. I noticed some similarities as well between Phil and Corey Taylor.
Yes.
So that's your number 8. Is Reinventing the Steel.
Yeah.
And Death Rattle. Wait, Death Rattle, you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my number 8 is also Reinventing the Steel. I felt like this record is really half-assed. I mean, it's a fine record, but if I'm gonna listen to Pantera, I'm gonna listen to like 3 records, and that's all I need. I don't need this. Nothing really stands out for me. It just seemed very phoned in, and at this time they fucking hated each other. Really hated each other more so. This is like the lowest part of the band before they broke up.
Yeah.
And it shows. It really does, because I don't think it's a very good record. And I don't have a banger on this one. And apparently Terry Date, I think from what I read, Terry Date he produced like all their 90s records except for this one at first, because he said he couldn't keep up with the drinking and the party. I guess it was so wild that he actually had to step back, and they produced it with somebody else. But then eventually on the anniversary ones, Terry Date came back and like remixed it or something like that. So if you go on Spotify, there's 2 different mixes of the record. It's the Terry Date one, and then the guy who originally produced it.
Just so I want to fucking hear is 2 different versions of one of their worst albums.
It sounds like almost exactly the same.
You listen to both?
No, I listened on my first listen. I listened to the Terry Date mix, and then I went back and listened to like 2 songs on the original mix, and I just maybe little things here and there, like just the atmosphere of it is a little bit different, because Terry Date has a very open sound when he records music. It's not like a wall of just stuff. He's very good at like separating the instruments, but still making it sound really cohesive.
Mm-hmm. I like him.
So
Good.
I do too. Terry Date's one of the greats for sure. He did almost all the he did a lot of Deftones too, so says something. But anyway,
Says something. You're right.
I have no bangers off of reinventing this deal. It's whatever. Never gonna go back to it. I'm gonna
That's
give this
fine.
one a 1 out of 3 as well, off our rating system. So what do you got for number 7?
Their first album, Metal Magic, 1983. Considering these kids aren't even like legal adults yet, and they're writing this music when they're like fucking 15, this album isn't bad. It's very goofy and it's very 80s hair metal sounding, but there's parts to it that are heavy and fast and aggressive, and you can tell that the template, the blueprint for vulgar display is there. It's just, Terry Glaze is just fucking irritating and the worst part of this band.
Yeah, for sure.
But holy shit, dude, Dimebag at like 15, 16 years old, he rips it up. My God. And that is one common theme that I've taken away from this listen, which is how fucking good Dimebag Darrell was. Unbelievable.
Or at the time he was known as Diamond Darrell.
Diamond Darrell, yeah.
Diamond Darrell and Rex Rocket.
That's
the
cool.
bass player.
Well, that's cool names. Well, those are very glam metal nicknames.
I know, it's terrible.
But yeah, I thought the title track "Metal Magic" that was one of the ones where it transitions and becomes like a heavy, fast, and aggressive song for '80s hair metal standards. It kind of sped up a little bit, got a little more chuggy, and Pantera does a lot of things well, and what they do really well, and we'll get into it later, is the ending of their songs. The ending of their songs, they like to speed it up a little bit, church it up a little bit, add a little nuance to it, and end on a high note. And I like that.
Yeah. They do that a lot.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's fucking good stuff.
It is really good. So that's your number 7. My number 7 is "I Am the Night." So we're kind of in the same ballpark here, which is nice. This is their third album, like you said. This is the last one to feature Terry Glaze, and before he was kicked out and Phil came along. This record was not good. The thing that really kills it for me on this one is Vinny's drums, because he played an electronic kit. And it's so glaringly obvious that it is. I mean, I don't even think they tried to hide the fact that he played an electronic kit, because it just stands out so much from everything else. And I hate the sound of electronic kits, especially in the 80s. Ugh, it's terrible. Like, you should only ever play an electronic kit if you're just like practicing by yourself and you live like in a condo or an apartment or something. Like, this is the only reason why you should ever play one of those kits. But no,
true.
they decided.
Pretty true.
But instead, they decided to make an entire fucking record with a Simmons electronic drum set, and it sounds terrible, and I hate it. And this is just an extension of the second record, and the first record is it's more glam. It's more glam vocally and songwriting wise, but at this point, you can hear more and more of Dimebag's signature sound, and like the chugging and the starting and stopping of his or the choppiness of his guitar playing. You hear it a lot more on this one, and which is cool, but otherwise, yeah, this song is not very good. If I had to pick a song, a banger off this one, it would be Down Below, which they have actually re-recorded for the fourth record. But this particular song is much more Metallica sounding of the 80s, and that guitar solo is just really fast, and it's so good. It's great. But outside of that, the record is pretty lackluster. So that's my number 7. What do you got for number 6?
Projects in the Jungle, their second album. This one, it was similar to Metal Magic, except there was a lot more liberty in doing solos. And the band got better from 1 to 2. They got a lot better, and they're still very, very young, and they came out just like a year apart from each other, but they grew so much as a band. And overall, I don't have like a specific favorite song, but Dimebag's guitar playing on this is still pretty unreal. And I'm still just blown away by how good he was from like day one. And there's like, he's definitely going after the Eddie Van Halen sound on this album. And there's a ton of like the phase tricks and all the other stuff that we've heard from like songs like Eruption. And this is coming from a guy who was like 16 or 17 when they wrote this and this came out. And it's just so fucking obnoxious that he's so good, or was so good.
Yeah. So you have no banger off this one, right?
No, I don't have a banger off it. But I mean, I think this is so much better. So like I Am the Night, Reinventing the Steel, and Metal Magic. I think Metal Magic I would give a 1. The other two I would give sub 1s. I don't think you need to listen to them. Who cares?
Okay.
Metal Magic I give a 1. This one I probably do like a 1.5. Just because I think the guitar sound is amazing, and you can really hear him, like really, I don't know, really getting comfortable doing better solos.
Yeah. So my number 6 is also Projects in the Jungle, this record, and I agree with like everything you said. This is a huge step up from Metal Magic, their first record, and it's like, what the fuck were they doing with their third record? Like you had this great progression, this great maturity in the music, and then you kind of just like throw it back to Metal Magic on your third record. It doesn't make any sense. But this record is really good, and what makes this record better than the others of that era, the first 3, was that I feel like they finally decided to like, or they kind of made music outside of glam. So there's like some thrash stuff going on. For example, like the song Killers. That's my favorite. That's my biggest banger off this one, because this is more of a thrash song, and it's fast. I mean, obviously Dimebag's guitar playing is just so good. But I give them a lot of credit for trying something a little bit different, a little bit new, because at the time when this came out in 85 or 86, thrash was very new. Yeah, it was kind of blowing up, but it was still very new. And for them to take the chance of playing more thrash style, that's ballsy. Especially coming from, Arlington, Texas, middle of nowhere. So, yeah, that it's really cool. And I agree with you on the Van Halen part. I also hear a lot of Judas Priest. I'm not a big Judas Priest man, but I hear a lot of like Rob Halford stuff and a lot of the guitar similarities between the two bands. But otherwise, with this song, with this album, I would give it a 1.5 as well. So I agree with you on that. This is definitely better. This is the best of the Terry Glaze era, for sure. So with that being said, let's get into your number 5. What do you got? Go.
Far Beyond Driven, 1994. So this one starts off, and so the first song is Strength Beyond Strength, and I was fucking blown away. This was like a straight up like hardcore song, and it's amazing. It's one of their best songs.
Yeah.
And then it tapers off fast, and it's not like a bad album by any means, but it's just nothing we haven't heard before. But just the shock that Strength Beyond Strength popped up, and it was such a banger of a song, and then to just fall off completely the rest of the album. The rest of the album is just run-of-the-mill 90s Pantera. That is it. Nothing more, nothing less. If you took that title track song out, this might even fall below like Projects, just because of its mediocrity. There's just nothing about this. And then they do the Planet Caravan cover.
Oh yeah, that's kind of
100% boring.
Yeah, there was no reason for it.
Yeah. But yeah, my favorite track is Strength Beyond Strength. That's the opener. Oh, like, holy shit. It's so aggressive. It's so fast. I swear to God, it was like something like Death by Stereo Race Fist would do. It was insane. It was crazy.
Yeah, it's a pretty good song. It is a pretty good song.
Holy shit.
All right, so that is your number. What were you saying?
No, that's it. That's all I got. Number 5.
So that's your number 5. My number 5 is The Great Southern Trendkill, their 8th record. This is there's a lot going on this one. A lot of grunge sounding stuff, a lot of 90s sounding stuff. They were still very heavy at this point, but they really kind of doubled down on the grunge sound, which they had touched upon on the prior record, but they really went for it on this. And I don't know, it's a fine record. I mean, I would never go back to it, but it was either everything you've heard before or more grunge. And at this point, grunge was already out. They were that genre was dead for the most part. So my bangers on this one are 2 different songs, because it pretty much should be one song, and that's Suicide Note Part 1 and 2. That Part 1 is like just a very soft song, just kind of building up, and then you get Part 2, which is arguably their fastest song in their entire career. Like, you can't get faster than that, for them at least. That is just an absolute fucking crazy song right there. Part 2 is Suicide Note Part 2. And I just like that, the kind of the story that tells, or it kind of leads you along. I like that a lot. So that's my number 5, The Great Southern Trendkill. I would give this one a 1.75. 1.75.
Okay, fair.
Never go back to it, though. Never get it on vinyl. So what do you got for number 4?
4 is The Great Southern Trendkill. And I thought this was just like another Far Beyond Driven. I mean, I do agree, like, a lot. We're getting, like, especially in the vocals. I just, sometimes he just irritates me with the way he wants to sing, like he's an STP or Pearl Jam or something. It's fucking annoying. This little stupid grunginess. But then there are times too where I got like a little new metal in there.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Again, man, fucking A, this album's long, and it bothers me that these albums are an hour long. I can't get over it because they shouldn't be an hour long. And the whole point of like Vulgar Display was they wrote, 11 songs. They didn't write like 40 songs and then chose 11. They wrote 11 songs that they felt were fucking bangers. Because they they said, what's the point of writing all these songs if you're just going to throw them away and not use them anyway? This is writing 9 or 11 really good ones. It's like, my God, like you guys wrote all these songs that are just okay on the Great Southern Trendkill because they're okay. Some of them are great.
Agree.
Like I do agree with you on your bangers there. Living Through Me, that's my biggest banger. I think that comes right after the 2-parter too.
Does it?
I think it's the next song.
Is it
right
another
after.
fast song? I don't
It's
remember.
so like this is when. So I really heard that Slipknot sound. I don't know what you would call it. I'm just going to call it the Slipknot bounce because that's what kind of it does. It like rolls and bounces along, and it's really good. And like I said earlier, the song "Sick" is just like right off the bat, first album. One of the first things people hear from Slipknot. They're coming in when the vocals start up. That sound right there is such a cool sound that Slipknot does better than anybody. And this was cool to hear it before they did it. I was like, oh fuck, that's rad. This is like years prior to that. That's cool. It's cool that Slipknot would I don't know, perfect this sound. Even though if this was the first thing you heard, you'd be like, holy shit, this is amazing. And then Slipknot does it, and it fucking blows your mind.
It's true. Slipknot did such a good job with that particular. I know exactly what sound you're talking about. Exactly. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Like I can sing it along as I'm listening to it, and you kind of like bounce.
Are you talking more about like the slower, more subdued parts, or the heavier?
No, literally okay. Because "Sick" is the first like song, right?
Yeah. That's
first
what's
album.
throwing me off from what you're saying. Yeah.
So not the instrumental parts. It's right when Corey comes in.
Oh, that kind of, I know. Like he has that choppy way of singing, like where he's super pissed off.
Like kind of like that thing. It's very static and
Yeah.
That sound is here, and Pantera had done that sound before, but that was not. I mean, Vulgar Display they did better, but this was one of the best times they did that Slipknot bounce.
Yeah.
So, the Great Southern
Now I get
Trendkill.
what you mean. I was thinking of a different thing that Pantera were doing. That reminded me a lot of Slipknot, but it was like in the slower songs. Like, because Phil does this like deep kind of, he has this deep thing when he sings slow and to be menacing, much like Corey Taylor does when there's a very slow Slipknot song from the first 2 records, where it just sounds like he's gonna murder somebody. That's what it sounds like, but without screaming. And they both do that. Both Phil and Corey both do that, but except obviously Phil did it before Corey did.
It's funny because my neighbor Phil, who Vulgar Display is like one of his top 3 albums of all time, and he has said that like the only other person that could do Phil Anselmo's like kind of like lower, it's not like a growl, but it's, you know what I mean, like the lower thing that he does. The only person that he ever thought could do it better than Phil Anselmo was Corey Taylor.
I'm surprised he even knows who Slipknot is.
Who, Phil?
Yeah.
If it's in the metal rule, he knows everything.
Really? Even Slipknot? I don't know. It just seems
What
too
do you mean
modern.
even Slipknot?
It just seems too modern. It just seems too modern.
What are you talking about modern?
It seems too modern. I don't know.
I think you're fell on your head or something when you walked in the door.
So that was your number 4, right?
Yeah, number 4.
All right, my number 4 is Power Metal. 4th record. This is the first one with Phil, but they were still doing the glam thing. This one actually, it really surprised me at how good it was. And I was kind of blown away by Phil. I had no idea he can actually sing like that. Like, he has quite the range. Both, with the clean vocals and then bring in the screaming. he has a wide range in both of those kinds of styles, and I was very impressed. Honestly, very, very impressed. He does have moments where he does sound like Rob Halford here and there. This is just like a really good record. It really was like it was a great combination of glam mixed with thrash, and then a little bit of what they were going to become with Vulgar Display. A great combo of all that. My favorite song is PST 88.
PST 88.
PST 88. Great fucking thrash song. It's just a great song, and this is a perfect song to transition from power metal to
Cowboys from Hell.
Cowboys from Hell. Yeah, perfect transition right there. So power metal, honestly, I would pick up power metal.
Oh
no, I take it back. I wouldn't pick it up.
Just because you know how expensive it is.
Well, I mean, I would just buy a bootleg. I'm not going to fucking buy. I'm not going to buy an official copy of any of the stuff from the 80s because that's bullshit. That's stupid.
Oh,
silly boy talk. But yeah, if a bootleg was like $5, $10.
Oh my
maybe,
god, this guy over here has $5. If it was a nickel,
well, would you not pick it up for a nickel?
I'm not even gonna answer that question. It's stupid. So that was your number 4.
That was my number 4.
Okay, my number 3.
What do you got for number 3?
Is power metal.
Okay,
dude,
all right.
I really enjoyed this album. This is such a cool album. Everything is here. Like the Cowboys from Hell sound is here. It's just very amateur. The glam metal songs are tolerable because Phil is not an annoying glam metal singer. He's a little bit more nuanced. And Dimebag's a really fucking good guitarist at this point. Like he's not just a kid like fooling around the guitar. Now he's a full-blown fucking really good guitarist. And it's still early. My God. And then that feels like his growl thing. It's starting to form here. The stuff that he will just perfect in Vulgar Display. It's forming. It's in like the embryonic stages. It's so cool. And there's also some very, very Metallica sounding songs on this, like Over and Out. So they're still kind of figuring out what they want to take, where they want to take their sound. And like this is such a cool transition, like you said, from the glam to what we know as Pantera. But this is, I don't know, this makes glam metal kind of cool, and I really dig it. My favorite song is PST, or Pussy Tight Solo 88. It's a closer song for the album, and it's just fucking good. It's just like a weird power metal / thrash track. It's fucking weird, and it's, God, Daryl just rips it up. He's just, like I've always read articles, and he's always on a lot of lists of best guitarists of all time, and never really dove into Pantera outside like 2 songs. Which I think he's a great guitarist, but after this week, my God, I could not even believe how good he is. Get it?
Yeah.
Couldn't do it.
Pretty remarkable.
I'd buy power metal on the vinyls for sure.
Bootleg or real?
No, I mean, if I saw a real copy of power metal for like $25, I'd probably splurge.
Oh my God. Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, but that's it. Well, I'm not like you with fucking $4. Yeah, no. Honestly,
you're looking at least $150 for an actual real copy of that record.
Yeah, no, there's no way, and it's never gonna get repressed, and especially now that half the band is gone, and then the half that's left there's the bass player and a guy that's a dick. So
neither of them are original members. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's, I don't know. I would never order this as a bootleg. If I saw it as a bootleg in a store, I'd probably pick it up. But this is not something I would order online as a bootleg. I don't care about it that much. But I did really, really like it. This is at least a 2.
All right, that's I would give it a 2 as well. Yeah, I'd give it a 2. So I will say though, I did, speaking of vinyl real quick, I did see maybe 2 or 3 months ago the guy who does Record Safari in Glass House. He had an original copy of Metal Magic that he was selling in the store, but I don't know how much it was. I
think I saw him posted on Instagram.
Yeah, but I don't know if it was Record Safari or Glass House. I can't remember.
I think it was Record Safari. You're right. I don't know. I don't remember which one it was, but I do remember just because the cover's so fucking awful.
Terrible. Yeah. But he was selling an original copy of it. He probably sold it for at least $150.
Oh,
200 maybe.
Some asshole probably bought it.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
He thinks it's good.
Those people are dummies. All right, so my number 3 is Cowboys from Hell.
Cowboys from Hell.
5th album. Really, this album was the beginning of modern Pantera, the Pantera that everybody knows. But what has always like thrown me off about the band, and especially this record when I listened to it, was Dimebag's guitar tone. I never liked the guitar tone on the song Cowboys from Hell, and that's what that tone is through the entirety of this record. I just don't like it. It's too gritty. It's too rough sounding, like too rough to the point where it just sounds not very good. Musically, everything's there, but I would compare it almost to like the snare sound on Saint Anger from Metallica.
Ooh.
Like it's just distracting enough to be a little bit annoying, and it kind of dampens the greatness of the record.
Okay.
I can't stand his tone on this.
Okay.
And he never has that tone before or after this record. It's just too much. But otherwise, it's a great record. I'd give this a 2 out of 3 out of from our ranking system. And what was cool about this too is that Phil still had the higher registered screams and singing. Like there's a little bit of that here. Like he still kind of threw it back to the glam stuff, but still kept it really tough, in theme with what they were going for from here on out, which was cool. I like that. My favorite song is Shattered. Some amazing guitar riffs from Dimebag on this, and the soloing is just so fucking good. But this is another song too where it's more thrash than more the groove metal that they essentially kind of created. So
yeah.
Cowboys from Hell. Yeah, that's my number 3.
Cowboys
so what do you got for number 2?
Cowboys from Hell is my number 2. It's so good. There's a couple things that I've noticed with this guy, Terry Date, right? Mm-hmm. So I think going from power metal to Cowboys from Hell, you bring in this big time producer who's, he knows what he's doing.
Big time guy though.
He knows what he's doing. Big time. But compared to what they were doing on power metal, this is a big time producer. They're spending big money. They just got signed. They have a lot of money to spare. They're recording in studios that they probably have only dreamt about. So there's a lot going into this, and I think that's where it suffers. And I noticed that Terry Date does a lot of stupid flush shit sometimes. And there's a couple tracks in Vulgar Display where he adds these little things that are just fucking nonsense. They're just little noises that he adds are fucking just so stupid and pointless, and I don't know why he does it. But then I noticed that it happens a lot in the Pantera realm with Terry Date behind the wheel. We'll get into it later. There's a couple tracks here that I really noticed it on. I thought it was so dumb. But I think these guys just didn't know. They're still evolving, and even Cowboys, from Cowboys to Vulgar, that's still an evolution, and they're still evolving. And I just think they just didn't quite know how to articulate the sound that they wanted. And so, because I agree with you, in some parts, the guitar tone is it's almost like washed out. It just sounds like shit, even though they were trying to go for like an edge, but it wasn't presented in a good way. It was like they wanted it to be really crunchy, but then they churched it up so much that it just sounded like fake crunchy.
Yeah, more like tinny. It was almost like they took all the low end out of the guitars. So it just, I don't know. Don't like his tone on it.
But damn, dude, this is such a cool album. Like The Art of Shredding, that's my second biggest banger. Super rad song. Obviously, dude, Cowboys from Hell is such a cool fucking song. And even young me that was super into pop punk, when I first learned how to play the guitar, Cowboys from Hell, for whatever reason, was always a song that I really, really loved. And then this week I learned that main riff again, and it came super natural because I've always just known it. I've always just learned this song because it's so fucking cool. Cowboys from Hell. God, it's just so I love that so much. It's so good.
All right.
I should have bought these on fucking when Revolver did the represses or whatever they were for Cowboys and Vulgar Display. Yeah.
Was that must have been recent then? If we were.
Yeah, it was like the past year, maybe 2 years. It was super recent, but I mean,
they're not on the site anymore at all. They're all sold out.
I don't know. I haven't checked. I would assume that they're gone. I don't know. But like my neighbor Phil has like an original Vulgar Display, like a '90s copy of Vulgar Display on the vinyls.
Fuck, dude. I can't. I mean, that's so cool.
And I want it. So I'm gonna steal it next time I'm over there.
I can't believe he just won't sell it to you. Like, he doesn't even have a turntable.
I mean, I'm sure if I asked, he probably would. But I don't know. I understand, like, that's like his stuff. You know what I mean? That he's
No, I know,
sentimental value and things like that. But damn, one day I'm just gonna leave a Tanya Tucker album in its place and just write like IOU for Vulgar Display on it, and then one day he'll notice.
Oh, that's so stupid.
As he's flipping through his metal, and he's got like Flotsam and Jetsam, and then Metallica, and then Tanya Tucker.
So it looks like Revolver still has some Pantera stuff on there.
How much are they?
So it looks like Vulgar and Cowboys. It's the vinyl with like a book, like a special collector's edition, and it's $45.
Ugh.
$45 for like a book and the record. Same with Cowboys.
Or
you can buy all the 90s stuff for $390.
It's even worse.
I'm sure they're on Discogs. You know, if they still have them for sale on Revolver, you're gonna find them on Discogs and shit.
Revolver's so annoying because most places, if you sign up for like their mailing list, they'll throw you like a 10, maybe a 15, and in rare circumstances, a 20% off. Hey, 20% off your first order. Revolver does a 6.66% off your first order. Fucking
So
annoying.
So metal.
Like, like you're not even covering tax.
I know.
Fucking shit. That's awful.
That's where they get you, man. That's where they get you.
6.6. Cowboys from Hell.
All right. So you got anything else on Cowboys from Hell? All right. So my number 2 is. Are you ready for this one?
Yeah, the great. No, what did you like? Far Beyond Driven.
Far Beyond Driven.
Yeah.
Their 7th record. This record is probably their most dynamic record. They touch upon more kind of genres and styles than any other record. They're dabbling in the grunge, but then I feel like they were really doing a lot of new metal stuff that Sepultura were doing, Korn were starting to do at the time. So they really did. They were touching upon a lot of cool things, and they were doing it well. Like, it wasn't too much grunge, like on Southern Trendkill, which was way too much grunge. There was like this great balance of all these different things that they were doing with the groove metal and thrash and everything else. And I thought it was really cool. And this is one of those records where I heard a lot of Slipknot in there. Like what I was talking, not the fast stuff or like the stuff like Sick, but the slower stuff like Tattered and Torn and Purity and those kind of slower Slipknot songs. I hear a lot of that styling on this record. Or some of that styling on this particular record, and I think this is a solid record. I would get this one on vinyl.
Ooh.
I would definitely get this on vinyl. And my favorite song, "Strength Beyond Strength."
Ooh.
I'm with you on this one. What a killer way to start out the record, coming off of Vulgar. You know, it really punches you in the face. This is it's a great fucking song, man.
Even coming off of Vulgar, like, it's still intense. It's still insane. Yeah. I was fucking blown away by that song.
Yeah, I know. Me too. It's such a cool song, and I honestly think it's a great record. And I don't care what anyone else says. I like how diverse it is, but in all the positive ways. They did a really good job on this record, and I never knew this record existed prior to this week. So there you go. That's my number 2. So I guess our number 1s are the same.
Yeah,
and that's a Vulgar Display of Power.
Cowboys from Hell.
So we'll get more into that on the main episode, so go listen to that. While you're listening, go to Apple Podcasts, rate, review, and subscribe to us on there. Follow us on social media at Asinine Radio. Thank you all for listening. Tell all your friends and family. And that's it. That's all.
Cowboys from Hell.